I'm waiting. I gave you an acronyms that you can use to remember the kingdoms that we discussed about it last week. I give you map square help or map help. Air gift.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Hey, you should remind us the 5 kingdoms that we checked last week.
Okay. We treated Kingdom Bonera.
Kingdom Monera. Do you remember the characteristics of Kingdom Monera?
No.
Why? Why can't you remember? Hey, you are not reading your notes. What's going on? Were you able to jot the notes down last week?
I jotted it down. I'm looking for where I jotted it down.
You are looking for where you jotted it down. So you don't have a proper note for your note taking.
I have a note too. I traveled last week. I was not at home. So everything is mixed up.
Okay, so we checked 5 kingdoms last week, and I used these acronyms to actually aggregate all the kingdoms. The M stand for Monera, Kingdom Monera. While the A stand for Animania, the P stand for Protista and Plantei, while the F stands for Fungi. I said the things Jam will be asking you on these 5 kingdoms are basically the characteristics and the examples of the animals or organisms that belongs to each kingdoms. And I give you characteristics for each kingdoms. I give you examples for each kingdoms, and I expect you to go over it and read it all over again because during the class quiz, I think some of you scored 2, some of you scored 3. And that is why I asked you to check it again. Easy will not be doing biology again. It's now going with an engineering course, cyber security. So that's why we'll not be having him in the class today. So anytime I'm taking your class, please do well to check it again after the class. It is for your own good. There's a way when you revisit what you have been taught, there's a way it gives you this easy remembrance. It makes you to understand it more better. It sticks to your brain more better. So always check it again and again. The characteristics of Kingdom Monera, I said they are prokaryotes. Prokaryotes simply means they don't have a true cell. And I gave you the characteristics of them. I said they don't have 2 nucleus. They don't have a 2 membrane banded organism. So they have no membrane banded organelles. They have no 2 nucleus. They are unicellular and they reproduce by binary fission. Cellular, what do you mean by no membrane banded organelles? What do you mean by binary fission? I explained all these things to you last week. And I gave you examples. I gave you bacteria and the blue green algae, the cyanobacteria. I gave it to you that last week. Move to Kingdom Protista and all. Please and please, if you are not here for the last class, do well to revisit. There is a note, a video that we uploaded on your dashboard. Go and check it. Biology class 2. You can revisit it again and check it so that we can be on the same level. So today we'll be checking the 3rd chapter. We're checking the 3rd thing for today. Let me see what we have for the chapter 2 according to your JAMB syllabus. I think it's an adaptation. Adaptation or something. Oh, let me check. Okay, so what we have for your 3rd chapter in biology is variety of organisms and adaptation. So that will be the 3rd thing we'll be checking today. Like we always do, we are checking all these topics as it was organized or as it's organized by JAM, because they have a curriculum that they'll be testing you students for, and we are following it dutifully. And after the class, we'll be checking JAM past questions on that same topics with expected years so that I can know how much you understood what we were being taught. So today's class, like I said, is this chapter, David. Is on variety of organisms and adaptation. So I want you to write it down. Varieties of organisms. You know, biology is about notes, but then you need some understanding, because JAMB will not be asking you to be divining, to be explaining. They will ask you questions, optional based questions, that you'll be picking answers from the options. So you just have to understand each topic and find a way to make sure you can answer any question that arises from any topic that we are discussing. So let's talk about adaptation. From the word adaptation, when we say adaptation, adaptation was taken from the verb adapt. Adapt simply means you are trying to get used to survive to a particular system. Maybe you leave a place, probably you went from Nigeria, you travel out of the country, let's say to Canada, for example. You know, Canada has a very low temperature. Sometimes they have 2 degrees, sometimes they have 3 degrees. And that is very small temperature, a very low temperature. So with that, you have a very high cold system to deal with. So when you get there, there's a way in which you are not used to a very low temperature like that, and you want to adapt. One of the ways to which you can adapt is making sure you are wearing a very cold resistant clothes that can insulate or probably provide enough heat into your body and all. So adaptation was taken from the verb adapt, like I said. In biology, it simply means there's a way in which organisms, when they get to a new location, they try to use some special structural or functional behavioral features in order for them to survive and reproduce successfully in their environment or in another environment. So that is what adaptation simply means. It's just like a survivor mode or a survivor mechanism. Organism trying to respond to environmental challenges. Let me use that one. So they want to respond. And it's very important that every living thing must understand this adaptive mechanism, because there's no way you will be able to live longer if you don't have adaptation survival instinct. So every organism has a way to adapt. So it's just a way of responding to changes in the environment or challenges in the environment. So I believe you understand what adaptation simply means. So I want you to write the short notes I will give you down for adaptation, the meaning of adaptation. So adaptation is the possession I want you to jot down. Adaptation is the possession of special structural. Adaptation is the possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features. Adaptation is a possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features by organisms. Let me type this down for you. Adaptation is the possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features by organism is a possession of special structural function or behavioral features by organisms to okay, thank you. So it is possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features by organisms which enable them to survive and reproduce successfully in their environment. It is a possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features by organisms which enable them to survive and reproduce successfully in their environment. So if you look at this definition, they said it is this possession of special structure, number one. They said special structural, functional, or behavior. That's follow. Sorry, I have a network issue. Okay, like I was saying, look at the definition. I said adaptation is the possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral features by organisms which enable them to survive and reproduce successfully in their environment. If you look at it, I said three things in the things they ought to possess as a feature by an organism. I said they must have this special structural, this special functional, and this special behavioral. So it simply means under the types of adaptations or ways through which organisms can adapt, they used to adapt to the environment, is by the possession of special structural, functional, or behavioral. This is the way through which organisms use to respond to environmental challenges that I said, the environmental changes that is happening in the environment. They use these three things. This structure talks about the morphology adaptation. It talks about the morphological adaptation. Functional talks about the physiological adaptation. I will give you note on this. Just trying to explain. And this one is talking about the behavioral adaptation, which simply means if they ask you the types of adaptation, let's look into types of adaptation. So the first one we simply have, we have three major types of adaptation. From this note that I gave, like I said, we have three. We have the structural adaptation, we have the functional adaptation, and we have the behavioral adaptation. So that is just, like I said, it is very simple. By the time we began to continue, we see how organisms respond to challenges or changes in the environment by using these three adaptive mechanisms to respond well to these changes, either physical changes, chemical changes, environmental changes, any changes whatsoever. They use these three mechanisms to respond well to these changes and challenges. So let us take it one after the other. I believe you've written the type of adaptation. Please pay attention because we'll be answering a lot of questions here. I'll be asking a lot of questions here. Coming. That's really nice. So let's check it one after the other. Let's check the structural adaptation. Structural adaptation. I told you the other time that it's also referred to as morphological adaptation. In case they ask you in the exam that dash, dash, and dash are types of adaptation or adaptive mechanisms. They don't want to say adaptation. They want to say adaptive mechanism that is ensured by organisms. So they may not put structural. Instead of structural, they can put morphological. Please, it is still the same thing. Please, are we together? Are we together, please? So in case you don't see structural, don't be confused. It is morphological. And in case you don't say functional, they can write physiological also. So that you'll not be looking for, where is structural? Where is functional? So they can use morphological or physiological to explain. And when we talk about morphological, it involves physical features of an organism. So the features that you can see, that is morphological. That's why we call it structural. But let's take it one after the other before I explain. So quickly write structural adaptations. Structural adaptations. So structural adaptations. So like I said, structural adaptations involve physical features of an organism. So you can write that down. Structural adaptation. Let me try and give you a diagram so that you can see. It involves the physical features of an organism. It involves the physical features of an organism. Look at this diagram. I believe you can all see my screen. In case they show you this diagram, because JAMB is very, very tricky, they can show you a diagram like this. They can ask you what type of adaptation does an organism have as physical features. So this one is structural adaptation, so morphological adaptation. This is adaptation for obtaining food. Look at their mouth. You can see they have different teeth. They have different mouth shape. So this is adaptation for obtaining food. As you can see on the screen, they have different shape. So this is the way in which all these kinds of organisms, they've created a way to adapt in obtaining their food daily and all. So that is the first thing you need to understand about that. But let me give you organism adaptation and function. This first part A, like I said, is adaptation for obtaining food. Adaptation for obtaining food. We have adaptation for obtaining food. We have adaptation for protection. We have adaptation for defense. We have many adaptations under structural. So look at the mouth shape of different organisms here. All these mouth shapes, anything in the mouth is adaptation for obtaining food. Some of them, they can kill. They can kill, like the hawk, for example. Look at the the mouth of the hawk, it has this sharp curved beak. You can use it to tear flesh. You can use it to tear flesh. We have different other organisms also that has different kind of shape that permits or that illustrate the kind of way to which they use it to obtain their food. So the first one we are checking under structural adaptation is adaptation for obtaining food. Let me just give you a table. Let me give you a table on organisms, adaptation, and function. So you quickly write it down. So the first thing we said is we define what adaptation is. Can somebody tell me what adaptation is? Can you please mute your mic? I want to be sure you are following me. Akinwale, can I hear you?
Adaptation is the possession of features by organisms which enable them to survive and reproduce successfully in their
Very,
environment.
very good, very good. So it's a possession of features. They possess different types of features. I gave you theories, the structural, the physiological, and the behavioral features. These are special features that organisms possess in order to be able to cope with the changes and the challenges that is happening in the environment and to also reproduce also. And the next thing we check 3 types of adaptation. Gifts, can you remind us the 3 types of adaptation?
Structural adaptation or morphological adaptation, behavioral adaptation, and functional adaptation. Hello? Hello?
He's probably having network issues.
Sorry for that. So let me share my screen again. Okay. So Gibbs, can you please come again? I couldn't get what you said. I asked you to tell me the types.
We have structural or morphological adaptation, functional adaptation, and behavioral adaptation.
Very good. So we are under the first one, which is structural adaptation. And under the structural adaptation, we were talking about how organisms obtain their food. And also, I give you diagrams to see that there's a way in which some organisms have been configured. Looking at their mouths, you can tell that this kind of organism will like, even if look at the mouth of some organism here. Are they not frightening you? Look at this mouth. They are fighting, isn't it? So it's just a structural adaptation mechanisms that these organisms are using to survive, to adapt. Some organisms, they are carnivorous in nature. That is, they can only depend on flesh. For example, the hawk, they only depend on flesh. So they need a kind of a structural adaptation part. So they use their mouth and their hand. They can use it to tear flesh very well. So we are checking how organisms obtain their food. That is the first part we are checking under structural adaptation, because they can ask you that adaptation for obtaining food is under what? Or they can say adaptation for obtaining food is a type or is a kind of what type of adaptation? Is it structural? Is it physiological? Is it behavioral? So it is structural. Anything about food, anything about protection, anything about defense. I will give you other examples on that structural so that you can get familiar with it. So, and I give you this table. I want you to actually write it down. They can ask you that what is the adaptation mechanism or the structural adaptation for duck. The structural adaptation for duck is the broad, flat beak. You can see in the diagram. They use it to filter blood, and to filter food. Sorry, for filtering food. The duck. So there's a way in which you see the duck. They will raise up their mouth upward, and they'll be shaking like this. So they are trying to filter the food that is coming in. So you can just write it down. The butterfly. These are the major things they ask almost every on the organization of structural and addition parts. So write down the four things: the hawk, the sharp beak for tearing flesh, the duck, the broad flat beak for filtering food, the mosquito, the piercing mouth parts for sucking blood, and the butterfly, the long proboscis for sucking nectar. So that's to which they adapt. So I believe you are done with that. So let's quickly go to the B part for the structural adaptation. This is I believe we get that. So this one might go to this one is adaptation for protection. Adaptations for protection or defense. There are some insects. I believe you should have seen some insects that they can have the color of that plant. There are some grasshoppers. Some that we call them stick insects. They will take the color of a kind of plant, very green, that if you are not careful, you will not know that there's an insect there. So that is what we call camouflaging. They use that one to avoid predators. Let me try and look for a diagram that explain that. That one is adaptation for protection or defense. Or adaptation for protection. Okay, I think I have a diagram here. Let me just paste it to you. Look at this. Can you see? Look at the insects here. They look so the same. And how? So we have some other, let me look for other diagram. Because some other organisms that they look so dangerous that they will have all these what's it called? It's as if they have all this piercing region, this sharp region in their body that even you won't want to kill them. You're like, these things are very dangerous. So they use it for protection and security. If, for example, if gift can run away, I cannot look at it. Look at this one. So all these ones, they are just adaptation for protection and for their own defense, for their own security. That is the second structure. When we see structural or morphological, they are the things you can see with your eyes. It's just like an open evidence, like a physical evidence. That is what we mean by structural. So you can see from obtaining their food, which is the first part under structural, we go to adaptation for defense, adaptation for protection. So these are just like an image that illustrates what I'm trying to pass across. Let me give you a table also of such organisms. Let me give you a short table. Then move to the third part. So look at it here. Look at the toad. Toad have poison glands for defense. Same thing as snakes. They also have poison glands for defense. Same thing as spiders and other organisms like that. They have poison glands for defense also. We have chameleon. Chameleon can change its color for defense also. It will change its color to the color of its surrounding that it found himself. It's also for defense to adapt to the challenges at the moment. So the importance of anything that can camouflage in case they had is to avoid predators, not to capture prey, just to avoid predators. You can see another example there is the stick insect. We have the praying mantis. That one is mimicry. So it uses to capture prey. To capture prey. So the C part is adaptation. I believe you are repeating that now. Adaptation. That's the third one under survivor, under structural, sorry. Adaptation for conserving water. Adaptation for conserving water. So far, let me give you, we started with adaptation. If you can remember, we said adaptation has three parts. It has the structural, it has the behavioral, it has the physiological. Under structural, we've talked about three things already, isn't it? It talks about adaptation for obtaining food, adaptation for obtaining food. It talks about adaptation for protection and defense. And the third one, we talks about adaptation for conserving water, isn't it? Do you see the three? These are the things we've checked right now for conserving water. If I don't know if you've ever seen a camel before. Let me just, a camel have this thick skin and this fat at the upper part, which helps to prevent dehydration. I don't know if you've actually studied it before. And there's this plant. What's the name of this plant that has like a spike? Cactus.
Cactus.
So yeah, very good. Cactus. So it helps them to reduce water loss. Let me try and get a diagram for camel so that others too can see what we are talking about. Okay. All right. So can you see? Look at the hump here, the hump here. So this is the part of the camel that is used to conserve water loss. That it helps to prevent dehydration. So water will not be lost in excess because of this hump that is there. And they also have this thick skin also. And they have fur. This fur is like here. It is very much. It helps to prevent to protect against sunburn. You can see all these things in the diagram. And now, so the third one under structural adaptation is adaptation for conserving water. Adaptation for conserving water. So let me just copy my notes for you so that you can quickly write something down. I believe we are all together, please. So we are still under the first adaptation, the structural adaptation. So we'll be moving to the second adaptation very soon. If you pay attention to the, so I want to open new pages. So you can write this down. The cactus, the camel, the mammals. Mammals, one of the importance of ears in our skin surface is that we use it to reduce or to regulate body temperature. Helps regulate body temperature. So it's also it prevents the body from antibodies, from foreign organisms and foreign substances. So one of the first defense to the body is the skin, and the hair helps to trap in foreign substances or dirt that want to enter the skin through the sweat holes. So even mammals, we have many adaptive features in our body that we use to adapt. Some people, if they are fighting, they can use their teeth to bite anybody. It's their own adaptive. I don't know if people does that. Ladies like doing that a lot. Any little thing, they'll be using teeth to fight. that's their own adaptive way to respond to the changes and the challenges they have at the moment. So that's the D aspect is adaptation for regulating temperature, and that's the fourth one under structure. That's the fourth one, adaptation for regulating body temperature. Adaptation for regulating body temperature. So we have there's a Yoruba that always say wani adìẹ mi lagun ìyá rẹ̀ ni ò jẹ́ ká mọ̀. I don't know if you remember the adage. So it's just the adaptation for if does not understand. Sorry for that. Akinwale should understand that. Yeah, Yoruba boy. So who is it? Confidence. I hope you are with us. Sorry, I have not mentioned your name since morning. Good afternoon. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, you are a
I'm
lady
fine.
too. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. All right. Hope you are following us, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very good. If you have any question, please always raise up your hand and ask your questions.
No problem.
The fourth part of structural adaptation is adaptation for, if I catch you, gift, adaptation for regulating body temperature. These are the adaptive mechanisms that organisms use to regulate their body temperature. For example, the humans will use sweat. There are some times when you are feeling cold, you began to shake. You began to shake so that you can release it. You began to shake. So that is an adaptation for regulating body temperature. Sometimes you began to release sweat. Began to sweat. Sometimes when you are playing ball, you are doing exercise, began to release sweat outside and all. So these are adaptation for regulating body temperature. So when the temperature of the body is too cold, or when the temperature of the body is too hot, there's a way the body adjusts. For example, birds use feathers. They use feathers. Mammals, we have ears, we have fur and all. So these are the examples of adaptation for regulating body temperature. Please and please, I want you to remember the 4 things under the structural adaptation mechanism. It talks about for obtaining food. It talks about for protection and defense. It talks about for regulating body. It talks about what's the 4th one? For conserving water. That's the 4th one that we talked about here. So they can ask you a question. All these 4 things, they are under structural adaptation. They are not under functional adaptation. What did I say? They are all under structural adaptation. They can ask you, the adaptation for regulating body temperature is an example or is an adaptive mechanism for what type of adaptation? A, functional adaptation. B, physiological adaptation. C, morphological adaptation. D, behavior adaptation. The answer is C, which is morphological adaptation. They may not use the word structural. You know, I told you the other time. You can either use the word structural or morphological. It's also saying the same thing. Is that taken? And if you look at A, the A was functional. The B is physiological. Physiological and functional, they are the same thing. They just repeated the same thing twice so that it can convince or confuse. So I believe that is taken. So just understand anything you can see. You can see sweat. You can see okay, so most of our time, we'll be having our quiz. Meanwhile, I will give you data or card. How much card did I give you today? I will give you data. Is it data that you need or card? Thank God, nobody need anything. So the second part is functional. Functional. It is late already. You need card.
Okay, because they gave me the data.
What do you say?
I'm
Okay, you
talking
want
to the person that said card because he won data. That's why he's now asking for card.
he's a wise guy now. He want data, he needs card. So tomorrow he may need shawarma. So that's how life works. You can win it now. I believe in you. So functional, that's physiological adaptation of functional. So I will show you the from my own personal. Confidence. Mention 3 types of adaptation. Confidence.
Sir,
Mention 3 types of adaptation.
we have the structural adaptation, the functional
What's
adaptation,
the
and
other
the
name?
behaviors. Sir,
What's the other name for structure?
morphological adaptation.
Very good. What do you call the last one?
Is it under which one?
The
The
type of
types.
adaptation. What's the 3rd one that you say? You said behavior.
Behaviors adaptation.
It's not
Yeah.
behavior, so behavioral adaptation.
Okay,
You get it.
behaviors adaptation. Yeah.
Thank you. Clap for yourself. You are doing big here. You don't want to clap. That's
I'm thinking.
that's good. Gives like doing big here. She won't clap. I don't know her problem. That girl. All right. So the functional or physiological adaptation, it involves internal body processes. When we talk about uh, internal body processes, so this goes beyond what you can see. It's not on the structural level. It's not on the morphology level. When we say what is the morphology of a man, the morphology of a man is different from the morphology of a woman. Same also, some people can use anatomy. Anatomy simply means the physical possession of a man, the physical possession of a woman. There's a way when you see a man, you say that this is a man. The way when you see a woman, you say that this is a woman. That's structural. But for functional, it is by the function, by the activities of their functional activities. So let me say by the functional activities they exhibit. That's how we can say this one is a man, this one is a woman. For example, when a man talks, there's a way a man should talk. When a man walk, I'm talking about walking, not trekking. W-walking and all. So functional or physiological adaptation talks about internal body processes. For example, let me talk about enzymes. There's a way enzymes can be produced for digestion, starting from the mouth level to the stomach level and all, even to the intestine level and all. So all these things, they are biochemical activities, biochemical processes. They are internal body processes and all. So that is what you want to check under function. I believe you should understand the difference between structural and functional now. So functional involve internal body processes. So let me just give you examples. Maybe number one, production of poison in snakes is an example of functional adaptation. This can anyone help me with the type of adaptation? Okay, you're just joining. Stephen. Okay, let me quickly make a little recap. Please permit me to quickly make a recap. 2 minutes for Stephanie. She's just joining us. So we were taking adaptation, and we said adaptation is just a way. They are features, special features. Let me give you the name. Special features like behavioral features, like structural features, and functional features that organisms use to respond to changes in the environment. They use it to respond to challenges in the environment. Structural, physiological or functional, and behavioral. So under structural, we check 4 ways through which organism can use structural adaptation mechanism to respond to changes and challenges. We use which by feeding, adaptation for obtaining food. We check the beak. You can check the note after the class. I will upload the video for you. You can check the note after the class. So we check the beak of the mouth. Just go a little bit. So look at it. So we have hawk here. Look at hawk. So hawk, you know, hawk, they are carnivorous animal. They depend on flesh. So they use their mouth to obtain their food by tearing flesh. We have dog also, which use their own mouth to sieve food, and other organisms like that. That is adaptation under structural. So I said they can ask questions and ask you that the adaptation mechanism for obtaining food is a kind of what adaptation? Is it structural? Is it physiological? Is it behavioral? I said it's structural. Anything you can see with your korokoro eye is structural adaptation. Anything that is happening in the internal body system, it is functional. Do you get it? So we check adaptation for obtaining food, which is the first one, under structural. We have 3 types of adaptation: structural or morphological. The second one is functional or physiological. Why the third one is behavioral. So you see your job, they may not ask you functional, they can say physiological. They may not ask you structural, they can say morphological. So that's why I gave you the 2. So adaptation for obtaining food, these are the examples. You can write it down later. Adaptation for protection and defense is the second one. You see some organisms, they can camouflage like chameleon, like some insects, sticking insects. They can, this is an example. You can see that it takes the color of the leaf. That is camouflaging. They are just trying to use it to protect themselves from predators, from prey. So that is what they do. So we have some organisms that they have all this spike around them. They look untouchable. For example, if Confidence see an organism like this, she might run away. Akinwale may not run away, but she may run away because she may be faithful. Like, this organism can bite me and all. Looking at the anatomy of the of this animal, you can see of this insect, you may see like, this insect, it looks dangerous. That's a protective mechanism. But we guys, we don't care. Even if it will bite us, we first touch it. You know, that's why men don't live long. Women live longer than men. We can dare anything. So look at it. It's just for protection and defense also. And I gave you some examples: sticking insects, the praying mantis, and the toad. Toad has poison glands that use as defense. Even snake, they have poison glands that they use as defense. Also, the third one on that structure is adaptation for conserving water. And the example I gave you was donkey. Donkey, if you look at the donkey, some of you don't know the meaning of the hump. That's big and the tall aspect of donkey. Now you know. It is not just there for any sake. It is there to, number one, to store fat and also to prevent dehydration, excessive loss of water. So that is what, and they have this hairy form, that is this hairy texture that help them to protect high temperature eating their body. So with that, if you are in a place where sun is not affecting you the more, you know, you'll be less dehydrated, isn't it? So that is why the fur also helps the donkey to have less dehydration, so they can conserve water easily also. So that's adaptation for conserving water under structural adaptation. That's the third thing we made mention of. And the last thing we made mention under adaptation or social adaptation is adaptation for regulating body temperature. So there are some organisms that they've adapted. If you look at them, they can regulate their body temperature easily. One of the reasons why birds have this optimum body temperature is because they have feathers that can regulate their body temperature easily. And also mammals, we have hair for humans, we can sweat in order to balance the temperature of the body, because there's a kind of temperature it must not exist. If it exists, there's a problem. You quickly go to the hospital to correct it by using drugs. So the second part we want to check, which is the second type of adaptation, is the functional and physiological adaptation. You're welcome. So we said functional, unlike the structural. Structural, you can look at it with your korokoro eye, with your naked eye, and say, oh, this one has a very sharp mouth, this one has a very big ear, this one has this one has that. But in structure, they involve physiological processes. When we say about physiological processes, it talks about internal body processes. That is the difference between functional and structural. And I was giving an example. I was saying the production of enzymes for digestion is an example of functional or physiological adaptation. Some animals will not just eat some kind of food because they don't have the enzymes that can break down such food. For example, a small baby, you just give birth to a young child. There's some food you cannot expose the child to because the enzymes are just developing. They don't have the enzymes to digest some certain kind of food. So began to give it so light food, and all, probably like meat and all this baby food also. So fufu of ebani, you're not serious. You don't give your child fufu. You are a country. So the examples for functional. Okay, you mean fufu? You should not give a child fufu. You are right. I don't say you should give a child fufu. Don't give a child fufu. So you can write it down. Production of poison is in snakes. Write it down. Example. Examples of physiological adaptation. Production of poison in snakes. Production of thick mucus. What age grade shouldn't take fufu? Fufu. Before you can expose a child to carbohydrates, you must let the child be 4 or 5 years or 3 years. And you can't start fufu because fufu has a very strong degradation rate. Before it digests, it takes Even if you want to give a child solid food, start with all these small rate carbohydrates. Don't start with for this. Even me as a man, I don't like food. Production of poison in snakes, production of thick mucus in fish in order to reduce friction. Production of poison in snakes is the first example. Let me just copy and paste so I can quickly write it. So like I said, I told you functional adaptations, they are not easily seen. You may not see them with your eye, but they are very effective. They are very, very effective. They are very effective. So quickly write that down. Let's go to the third type of adaptation. We'll be doing quiz after the class, so please pay attention. We're doing quiz. Anybody that win, get my card or my data. Behavioral adaptations. Behavioral adaptations. I believe we are done with the 4 examples. So when you hear the word behavioral, it was taken from the verb behavior. So behavior adaptations is a type of adaptations that involve how organisms act to survive. So it simply involves how organisms. Hello, please, who can hear me over there?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay. Please, can you hear me now, Stephanie?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
All right, very good. So we are checking the first part of behavioral adaptation, which is behavioral adaptation in social animals. We want to check how social animals behave in order to act to survive. Behavioral adaptation. An example of social animal is an ant or a termite. So you can see on the board. That is, look at the diagram for the behavior adaptation for termites. I'm coming, please. All right, so you can see, look at the diagram like I'm showing you now. No, termites, they are social beings, they are social organisms. Like I said, behavior adaptation organism has. We call it the patterns of behavior of an organism that helps an organism to survive in its environment. So termites actually have several behavior adaptation that make them very successful insects. And that's one of the things you need to pay attention to. For example, if you look at the queen in the termite, they are the one that lay eggs. Exactly. The queen, the only thing they do is to lay eggs. The king, they will now come to fertilize the eggs. And look at the workers there. The workers, they will gather the food. After gathering the food, they will feed others. They will build and maintain the house. We call it nests that they stay. While the soldiers, they will defend the other organism. We will call it defending the colony. And this is a cooperation that increases their survival and efficiency in the termites. So it's just a behavior adaptation for termites. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just a way in which every organism there, they has a way to respond. They has their own function. So the queen, you can see they lay their eggs. From egg become lava to lymph and all. It is the king. After the queen here, after they lay their eggs here, this king, they be the one to fertilize the egg. The queen cannot fertilize their own egg. It's only the king that can fertilize their egg. Are you together? It's just like man to woman. It's only a man that can fertilize a woman's egg. So it's also in the termite.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, like, they undergo external fertilization.
You mean the termites?
Yes, like after the queen lays egg, the
Yes,
father
that's
then.
it. Yes, that's very correct. So after then, the workers, their own work is to gather. No, so are you asking if termites as a social organism undergo external fertilization?
Yes.
No. This is how it works. You know, I said that the king and the queen will lay the egg, while the king will fertilize the egg. It is still internal fertilization, but there's something we call swarming season. I will say explain to you under reproduction. So during the swarming season, the termites, they will leave their own colony. So there will be a male and a female pair up. They will combine together. You know, man and woman is also internal fertilization, or is it external? It's not external, right? It's internal. So how it happened between man and woman is also what happens between termites. So during the swarming seasons, the animals, the females, they will leave the colony, and the male and the female will pair up. So they will be under the same, and they will start a colony. So the male king will now meet with the female queen, and fertilization will now happen inside the female body. And the queen will now lay fertilized egg. So when the queen is laying the egg, it's not just laying ordinary egg, it's now laying fertilized egg. But there is egg inside the female, the queen, the female termite. Not all female termites are queen. Let me just use the queen. So the queen will lay a fertilized egg. And after laying the fertilized egg, then it will, from egg, it will change from the diagram to larva. From larva, it will change to lymph and all. Do you get that? And you can see that we have reproductive nymphs, we have workers, we have soldiers. Do you get that? Is it confidence that has the question or gift?
It is me.
It is you.
Gifts.
Okay, hope you understand what I just said there.
Yes.
Okay, so let's quickly move on to other things. Coming. Let me give you a note. Have I given you a note under? Let me check the last line. So behavior adaptation in social animals. So I gave you insects or termites. So let me just give you this short note here. In case they ask you the function of some, so you can see that there's division of labor, which increases their. So queen for reproduction, the king for fertilization, for its internal fertilization, the worker for building, feeding and protection, the soldier for defense. So quickly write that down. Please, I don't writing this. So let me give you the other behavior adaptation because of our time. I want us to start. So we have the hibernation, the estivation. These are other behavior adaptation that they have. Anytime you hear the word basking. Basking is used to raise the body temperature. The body temperature in lizard. Hibernation. So you must be able to understand the difference between the behavior adaptation, the functional adaptation, and the structural adaptation. Now, in case they ask you, hibernation is an adaptive mechanism that is practiced in what types of adaptation? Is it structural? Is it physical? Let me see your hand. So, Gift, are you done? Akinwale, if you are done. Confidence. Stephanie, are you done? It's time for quiz. This is the rule of the game. There's no 50-50. You cannot call a friend. Don't check your notes. I may not see you, but God sees you. Don't check your notes. And each question is just 15 seconds. 10, 15 seconds. Once you don't answer within 10 seconds, that's all. Confidence, are you ready for the question? For the quiz? All these questions, they are your JAMB pass questions. You can get JAMB series online to practice. You can purchase PDF online to practice so that you can get familiar with the question. Stephanie, are you ready? So this is how you're going to do it. Let me see. So the first person that will go, let me curate. So gifts. Come in. So gifts is going first. Confidence second. Akinwale and Stephanie. So I think you'll be having three questions. Three questions or two questions. I don't know. I think I have 10 questions. Yes. Let me copy it and paste. So that's for your gift. Under 10 seconds. I want to make sure you guys think very fast. So under 10 seconds, it should be done. Which of the following best describes adaptation? Ability to move, ability to reproduce, collection of features that enhance survival, increase in population size. What's the answer?
C.
C. Why is it C?
Because it helps you survive.
Helps to survive.
Like
So
features that help to survive.
very good. So the answer is C. That's 2 marks. So confidence. The next person. So this is down 2015 past question. You can see it's very simple. So let me copy. Counter sheeting. Counter sheeting. I've not actually teach you. I've not taught you counter sheeting. That's the next topic I want to teach you now. But let me go to the third question. Let me go to the next question. So, over to you. Confidence. Which of the following is a behavior adaptation? Is confidence there?
Yes.
What's the answer? Behavior.
B.
Why is it B?
How the organism behave, like how they act to survive.
Do you remember the definition of behavior that I gave to you? I said behavior adaptation is an action or pattern of activity that helps an organism to survive. Let's take it from the first term. They said sharp claws in cats. That one is not. That one is structural adaptation. You know, it is a physical body feature. You can see it. Anything that you can see, like sharp claw, like the beak, the mouth shape, they are under structural, like the feathers. Are you with me? So this
Yes.
that's so the first one is structural adaptation, right? Do you agree? Are you with me, please?
Yes.
The
Yes.
camouflage in stick insect. I gave you also. I said it is under structural adaptation. You know, it involves body color or shape that helps the insect to blend to its environment. And I said that is just an adaptation for protection and defense. That was the second thing I gave you under structural adaptation. Just remember.
Yes.
So the C is migration of birds. The answer is migration of birds because this is a behavior adaptation. It is an action. You know, I said it is an action that the organism is to respond to changes in the environment. You know, birds move from one region to the other during a certain season. And what they do is it's just like a behavior adaptation. They react, they've responded to that challenges by migration. Tick fork in mammals also is an example of such adaptation. I told you that. I think that was the fourth thing I gave to you. Conservation of body temperature of heat. That is structural adaptation. The fourth example I gave you under structural adaptation. So the answer is C, please. Migration of bird. If I'm you, the first thing you need to do, you should have checked all these what's it called? The options. That sometimes when you don't know the answer, check the other options. Sharp clause is talking about structural, camouflage, structural, tick for structural. Simply means migration of birds. Even if you don't know the answer is migration of birds. Since other are talking about structural adaptation, then migration of birds is definitely the behavior adaptation. Do you get the logic, please?
Yes.
Very good. So let's move to question 4. The third person, I think that's Akinwale.
Yes, sir.
Have I taught you this? I've not taught you adaptive coloration, but let's see if you will get this. I've not taught you adaptive coloration. That should have been the next thing I will teach you because of time. The bright coloration of poisonous mushroom serves to attract mates, to reduce transpiration, to warn predators, to camouflage the organisms.
So please come again.
Can you see the bug? Can you see the screen?
Okay, yes.
The bright coloration of poisonous mushrooms serves to attract mates. This is Jam 2016 question.
The answer is to attract mates.
To attract mates. The bright coloration of poisonous mushrooms. The answer is not to attract mates. The answer is actually to warn predators. That is what they use their bright coloration of. The mushroom is very poisonous. Mushroom don't attract mates with their coloration. Though I've not taught you this, actually. I should have teach you before asking the question, but I just saw it in your question, so that's why I asked. But I will explain in the next class. I want to be available in the next class so I can explain it better. But the answer is to attract mates, to warn predators, to warn predators. So question 5, which is Stephanie. This one, if you don't get it, I will fly there. I will jump there. Do you know Spider-Man? I belong to the family of Spider-Man. You just see me in your room. Which cast in termites is responsible for reproduction?
The queen.
Very good. The coin. So, the point. So we have gifts 2, Providence, Akinwale, and Stephanie 2 for the first part. Although for Akinwale, I would not actually check the question, but I was thinking you will know it. The second batch now, come back to gifts. Okay. If you don't know this, don't talk to me again. So give it over to you. That's question 6. Basking in lizard helps to what?
It helps regulate body temperature.
To regulate body temperature. Very good. Regulate body temperature. Which structure is better to apply efficiently? Okay, so this is for confidence. Confidence, your just a take technical question from Jambo. Not be my photo. I just follow my question bank. It's actually simple, but it's just technical. Actually simple. Which structure helps bird to fly efficiently? Hollow bones, scales, teeth. Number 1, you can teeth, birds, scales, hollow bones, fins. Confidence, are you there?
The answer is A.
Very good. Hollow bones. Oh, why is answer here? Yeah, do you guess or what? Do you know why the answer is A?
Yes.
Why is the answer A? What is scale used
Sir?
to do? Scales. What do we use scales to do?
They don't even have scales, teeth, and fins.
They get some birds can even have scales, but it's just in their leg. Just the 2 scales. Birds can have scales, but it's very small. Just little scales. It's just this little body scales, so not like fish scales. So teeth. Birds does not have teeth. And also, okay, so I think and fins also. So let's go to the next question. I think that's okay. Let me mark this. That's question 8. Which adaptation enables deserts to conserve water?
Which adaptation enables
Desert plants to conserve water. The time has gone.
Not seeing the options.
The options are there now. Options A, broad leaves, B, spines, C, thin cortical, D, numeral stomata.
Broad leaves.
Broad leaves to conserve water. Desert plant don't have broad leaves. Broad leaves helps to conserve water, but for desert plant, they don't have broad leaves. I don't know if you get my point. Assuming it's not for desert plants, you are right. For desert plant, they don't have broad leaves because they have little amount of water. So it is actually spine, and they don't have numerous stomata. I was thinking you pick it out in cortical or spine. So, in fact, bodies increase surface area. It helps more water to be lost, and any desert plant they are not actually exposed to much water. They're not exposed to much water, so it's actually spine I know I was teaching you on the adaptation for conservation of water, cactus plants. Do you remember? Do you still remember, you guys, cactus plants? Ah, you have forgotten. Please, all of you, go and read the note I gave to you. Hey, go and read the note I gave to you. If you have less than 75 in your biology, we will fight to. Okay. So the answer is spine. So spine, they are just modified leaves that desert plants used to cope when there is low level of water in the soil. So we call it modified leaves. I think that is taken like that. Okay, so let's go to the next person. I think that should be Stephanie. This is JAM 2013. I believe all of you have JAM past question already. Please, if you don't, please go and get it. I'm begging you. So the long purposes of a butterfly is used for what? Do you know what purposes are? Stephanie, are you there?
I don't know what a proboscis are.
Purpose is just like an antenna. It's just like a long, how will I put it? Just like a long antenna. Antenna, sha. Actually, it is used for sucking nectar.
Okay, I think
That
that's what I was saying.
that's what I wanted to say, Abby.
Yeah.
And you did not quickly say it. I thought you don't know it. Okay, let me give you another question.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last question for today. Question 10, JAM 2017. They said, which of the following adaptation helps fish to remain buoyant?
Yep.
You know
Wow.
about feed buoyancy? Buoyancy for fish.
Uh, I'm not sure I do. Is it the swim bladder?
Do you want to call a friend? Do you want 50-50?
No, I don't have a friend to call.
All right, so what's your final answer?
The swim bladder.
The swim bladder. Is that your final answer? You want to give it a second try?
No, that's my final answer.
Actually, if you have said gills, you will have been incorrect. If you have said scales, you would have been incorrect. If you have said swim bladder, you would have been correct. So you are correct. All right, the swim bladder. That's very good. Do you guys watch Who Want to Be a Millionaire, sir?
He actually was a show, but
Been a
I
long
haven't.
time.
Eh?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Yes, Funky though. It's been a long time.
Same here.
Hey, yeah, that's good. All right, that's good. So, all of you should drop your number. Don't worry, I will send you something. Send your number to the chat. All of you did very well. So let me send you cards. Say you want card or you want data. I think card. So gift and Stephanie. That's good. Confidence. Akinwale. No, I think confidence is second person. Yeah, confidence is the second person. Akinwale is Stephanie and gifts. So, yeah, so that's very good. So I think we still have 5-10 minutes. Let me quickly give you notes on the okay, that's the number. Abi. Let me quickly share it to you before I leave the class because I'll be busy. Anyway. What do you want? Is it data or card? You want card? Yeah, let me check your. Okay, confidence wants card. Confidence, I've not seen your message. Stephanie said she wants card. Okay. What about gifts? Confidence want data. Data. That's an empty number, abi?
Yes.
All right, good. So let me quickly send this now. All right. So we will check adaptive coloration. Maybe that would be the first few things. For the first 10 minutes, we're using the next class. We'll use it for adaptation, airtime. Give it airtime, head there. Okay. So this is what I will send 500 card to confidence. I will send data, 1 gig data to no card. Okay. Confidence won't need data. So I will send maybe 500 meg. Since you are the third person, Stephanie card. Okay, so that's 081 36 95 90 00. All right, go. I've sent you card. Okay, so the gifts, airtime. So the next one, only the first position will be given card so that I can give you enough card. So Airtel, that's 090 70 79 89 16 66. All right. So that's Airtel. Gift Abi. The playful game. Yeah, good. Sense. Anointed Akinwale, you to card Abi. Airtime. Yeah. Stefan. That's MTN Abi. Okay. Sorry for delaying you guys. We'll end the class very soon. Now, now 66, 94, 78, 94. Yeah, I've sent it. So let me set the one gig to confidence. That's confidence. That's star 321.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've not sent anything to confidence, Abi. Data. That's 091 38 12 36 37. Yeah, so I've sent a gig to you. I said I've reached the maximum share limit. For today. Let me just share it. Sorry for that. Maybe tomorrow. Your number, is it confidence? It's an empty number, right? Is confidence there?
Present number.
Okay, sorry. You manage your card.
No problem.
Uh, yeah, I'll send it to you. So, guys, because of our time, we'll continue the adaptation mechanisms. And that should be it. What's the next class? Is it tomorrow? Is for chemistry or biology? So we continue. Please do well to come on time. Tomorrow, 12:30. Do well to have a good day, and do well to check your reading material. I mean your notes, so that you can read ahead of the class. I will send you a link for the video you are going to watch ahead of tomorrow. Do well to watch it. And if you want to check anything the other from today's class, go to your dashboard and check the link. You will see the access to all the videos that we've been having on this one. So, do you have any question before we call it a day, please? Any question? All right, no questions. So let's do well to have a good day. Enjoy your day.